Hello, everybody. This is Stephen Whitfield with Drilling Contractor. We are here outside the SPE DSETS/IADC Art Forum the day before the 2025 SPE IADC International Drilling Conference in Stavanger, Norway. With me right now is a man who gave a keynote presentation at the forum, Mr. Bjørn Jalving of Kongsberg Maritime. He's going to be speaking a little bit about sort of technology within the maritime space and how it kind of fits within the overall drilling landscape. So we're going to hear what he has to say about that. Bjørn, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
So one of the things that you brought up in your presentation was connectivity.
Yes.
And you talked about this whole thing about connected vessels. Now, can you explain a little bit about what a connected vessel is and why is it something that we need to be paying attention to?
We need to pay attention to it because we believe it will change the maritime operations. That connected vessel is like us human beings on land. We have become connected, and when we became connected, our lives changed. We believe that maritime operation will change because of connectivity, and so that's the main point I tried to make.
Another thing you sort of brought up was the sort of thing of the modern technology stack, going back to the connected vessels. Listing of things that we're going to need to see, the things that we're going to see. What would you say makes up the technology stack?
There are many pieces, but if I were to mention a few. On the vessel, we need to have the communication carriers, and for vessels, it will now, to a large extent, be low Earth orbit satellite communication. In coastal areas, also cellular networks, and they need to be cyber secure. And then they need the edge systems that communicates with the cloud systems. And the edge systems on the vessel, they also, and the vessel IT systems, they integrate with OT, the automation and control systems of the vessels. So it forms a full technology stack, which will be more and more modern and will be more and more influenced by the connectivity.
Interesting that you bring up cybersecurity there. You said in the presentation that cybersecurity can be a driver of technology. It's not something you hear every day. So can you explain sort of how that is? How does cybersecurity perhaps drive what we see technologically?
It is definitely a drive to us as a provider of vessel systems. Because of regulations, we need to make our IT and OT systems compliant to cyber security regulations. So that drives a lot of how we develop these. I think also it will drive the total architecture of connected vessels. So it changes technology.
Definitely. So last question I had, tying this back into the world of drilling, you also sort of talked about maritime fitting into the drilling and sort of the challenges that you kind of face there. One of the things you brought up a lot was talking about dynamic positioning, or the dynamic positioning rigs, I'm sure. You brought up this thing about dynamic positioning 3, DP3.
Yes.
And sort of the challenges of sort of incorporating that into this greater connectivity world, this greater connectivity ecosystem.
Yeah.
So can you explain, first of all, what is DP3? And then also, what kind of challenges do you face as a maritime company in sort of working in that space?
First, DP is dynamic positioning. In the drilling world, drilling rigs have dynamic positioning. That is drilling ships, floating drilling ships, but also floating submersibles. And these vessels, they're not anchored, nor do they have jackups. They are floating, and they use thrusters to maintain their position. And then the control systems to make sure they maintain their position, that's called dynamic positioning. Of all the applications that we have for dynamic positioning as a company, drilling is the most safety critical. So, and the most safety critical class is called dynamic positioning 3. And it means that there is a lot of redundancy, so no single failure should make a vessel lose its position. So redundancy and handling redundancy, that is That is DP 3.
Well, Bjorn, thank you so much for giving us that information. We really do appreciate you sharing it with us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
And thank you for visiting drillingcontractor.org.